howdy everyone. I hope you're doing well in your neck of the woods. Everything's going good here, except it's been like 100 and still been close to the hundreds. It hasn't been 100 again, but it's been 97, 98. It's been miserable. And then today is Thursday, the 17th, we had some dust storms. So that was real fun to walk through. Got a little dust storm knocked out of me. So today we're going to do the first part of our next recipe, which is red beans and rice. And first thing you got to do is take your pound of kidney beans. I like to use the small ones just because that's what I like. That's my business. And so the first thing that you need to do is you want to rinse the beans and you want to soak them overnight. So that's basically all that I'm going to do today. Like I said, just rinse them, soak them overnight. And then tomorrow I'll be able to make them. And then the other thing I wanted to show you was I call it my book of spells. Get this thing open. You don't have to soak these in any kind of special pot, any kind of special water, or anything like that. You just want to rinse them, make sure they're clean, and then, like I said, let them soak. Because right now they're dry. The reason why you're doing it is because it's dry. And you don't want it to be dry when you put it into your dish. And then that's literally all you have to do. Overnight, they will soak that water up and be nice and beany, nice and soaked up. And then you'll be ready to put them into the dish. So like I said, we're gonna make red beans and rice. It's got sausage in it, andouille sausage in it, and the Trinity. That's what we call down south. That's what we call onion, bell pepper, and celery. It's the Trinity. And so the other thing that I wanted to show you now was like I said, the book of spells. So I've got some here that I'm working on. I've got some drink recipes. I've got some things that I might be working on for the 4th of July, but I know I've talked about it, and I know that some people have asked me about it. So like I've got the breakfast section, I've got appetizers and snacks, I've got soups and sauces, salads and dressings, I've got pasta and pasta sauces, veggies and sides, shellfish and fish, poultry, meats, let's see, marinades and rubs and desserts. And then in another completely separate book, I've got party menus. So all of these recipes are recipes that I've tried out, cooked with. I make changes to probably, I would say 98% of them, just to either make something faster, more efficient, taste better. So I'm always trying to bring you the best recipes that I can, but we will eventually, if you stick with me long enough, we'll make it through the entire book of spells here. And like I said, if you have any recipes that you would like me to cook, let me know. I'll be more than happy to cook those and see what we can do, see if we can make them more efficient or taste better for you, and we'll get that done. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Our beans have been soaking overnight, and this is what they look like. So as you can see, they've plumped up, they've soaked up that water. You can tell the water is itself got that color in. This is exactly what we want. So those are good to go. And what you're gonna do before you use these in there, you're gonna rinse them again. You're gonna dump all that water out, rinse them again. We'll do that here in just a minute. But first things first, in a skillet, we're gonna take our pound of andouille sausage. I sliced it up, and this right here is what we call the Trinity in the South. So you've got onion, bell pepper, and celery. We use it in a lot of dishes, almost every dish that we make. It's gonna have the Trinity in it. So if you ever hear somebody or me say, we're cooking with the Trinity, bell pepper, onions, and celery. So, the first things first, I am going to kind of saute our sausage just a little bit, because I use the fat for the grease from that, and I cook the Trinity in that. And adding to the Trinity is going to be a little bit of garlic. And so I'm gonna whip that up for us real quick. I'll be back. All right, welcome back everyone. We've got the vegetables are almost ready. I've rinsed the beans and I've put them in 6 cups of water, which is what you're gonna need when you are cooking them. You're also going to season. This is the part where everybody's going to be a little bit different. Some people will only cook with the Trinity and the garlic and some bay leaves, and that's it. And so we're going to put about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half, 5. I'm going to put 6 in there. And you can put as many as you want or none. Some people use them, some people don't. I'm also going to put just a little bit of parsley and a little bit of oregano, just to kind of enhance the flavors. Again, this part is kind of completely what you want to do. And then a little bit of our Creole seasoning. And there you go. Let me add in the vegetables. And they don't have to be super duper cooked because they're about to simmer, like I said, for about 2.5 hours. So you want them to be cooked, but again, they don't have to be like super overly done cooked. So there's that. And then now literally all you're gonna do is put this on the stove, cook it. Don't be looking at my cabinets. You're gonna put this on the stove, you're gonna bring it to a boil, and then you're going to then reduce it down to medium low and simmer it for about 2.5 hours. At that point, you will then add in the sausage and simmer it for about another 30 minutes. I mean, as you can see, I've got some raw in there and some that is slightly cooked, so we're gonna try both. And then all you gotta do is make your rice. I'm gonna cheat and use a rice maker when it gets time. So that's basically all you're gonna do. This, like I said, this is a super easy dish. You wanna mix this up when you have it on the stove, and I will show you when it gets done after the sausage is in there. One of the other things you wanna do after it has simmered for the 2.5 hours, this is the big thing, this is what makes it authentic, is when you're putting the sausage in there, you want to take your spoon, and when you're stirring that up on the stove after you're stirring in the sausage, you want to take and you want to mash some of those beans up against the side of the pot, because at that point they'll be cooked, they'll be easy to mash. You don't want to do it to all of them, just a couple here and there. Do maybe 1, 2, I do about 3 spots, and that's what helps make it creamy. And it just helps, makes it taste better. So that's what I do. So I'm gonna get this on the stove now so we can get it boiling and simmering for a couple of hours. And like I said, I'll be back with you here after I've got the sausage all in there and cooked, and I will show you the finished product. Hello everyone, okay, welcome back. We're gonna be making the cornbread for our red beans and rice that are cooking right now. First thing you want to do is preheat your oven to 400 degrees. You're going to grease your skillet. You can use a cake pan. Just want to make sure you grease it. I don't ever use anything other than my skillet for cornbread, but you can use whatever you got. If you don't have a cast iron skillet, that's fine. Don't look at my hair, it's a little crazy. You will just want to make sure it's well greased, and the reason why is you don't want your cornbread sticking to the skillet. So we'll set that aside for now. Ooh, freezing. All right, in the bowl. So as you know, I live in Denver, and when I made some cornbread the other day, I used regular flour, and it was all right. It wasn't too bad, but since I live up here in the high altitude, I decided, some people told me about this high altitude Hungarian flour. Still all-purpose flour, and so I'm gonna give that a try. Worries me only because on the top it says, do not eat or play with raw flour dough or batter. Wash hands, utensils, and surfaces after handling. Which, I mean, of course you do that with any flour, but I've never seen that on a package before, so that was a little worrisome, but it's all right. So we're gonna see what happens. So I've got in the bowl a cup of all-purpose flour, a cup of yellow cornmeal, 2/3 of a cup of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, 3.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and then, so we're gonna just whisk this up together first. And you wanna make sure this is whisked really well. When you're adding your wet ingredients, just kind of make a hole in the middle of it. This will help with the wet, that whisk, plastic whisk ain't doing nothing. So for your wet ingredients, you're just gonna have 1 egg. Come on, egg, don't do this to me. Okay, good. So you got 1 egg. You have a 1/3 of a cup. You can use oil or melted butter. Butter just makes everything better. Paula Deen was right about some things, not everything. And then you're gonna have a cup of milk. So there's half, there's a cup, all right? And then you wanna mix this. You don't wanna over mix it. And you just wanna make sure there are, see, this plastic one ain't doing, oh, it's doing all right. You wanna mix it to where there are just a few lumps left. You don't wanna over mix it. You can use a mixer. Either way is fine. See, this is where I can feel it. It's about to snap. I just know it. We'll see. Yeah. We'll be using that again. There's my oven preheated, so perfect timing. Now, what you could also do at this step is you can add in some cheddar cheese, you could add in some jalapenos, you can add in bacon. You can make any kind of cornbread you want. This is just normal, regular old country podunk cornbread. But like I said, this will be the step where you can add some cheddar cheese and jalapenos and get you a good old jalapeno cornbread going. And let me get the skillet. Excuse me. You're just going to pour this into your skillet. So you just want to kind of spread it out. It'll spread while it's baking, but I always just like to make sure it's covering the bottom of the pan. Now what you're going to do is put that in the preheated oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. And when a toothpick comes out of the center and it's clean, it's ready. Not until then. All right, everyone. So as you can see, it's now out of the oven. I don't have any toothpicks, but this will work. You want to stick it in the middle and it comes out clean. So that means it's ready. Okay. And there you have it. I mean, it's nice and cornbready, cakey. That's exactly what you want. We're going to put another slab of butter on there. You'll let that melt, or it'll melt because of the heat of the cornbread. You can put it on the inside. Some people put it on top. I do either. And there you go. There is your cornbread. That'll go nicely with our red beans and rice. All right, everybody. We've been cooking and simmering now. We simmered for 2.5 hours with the beans, added the meat, let that cook for another 30 minutes. And this is what we've come out with. Like I said, we smashed some of the beans against the side of the pot when we added the meat. So it made it nice and creamy. And that is exactly what we want. And you can leave it simmering just to reduce it and let it be even creamier. It's up to you, whatever you want. Got my rice here. Yes, I cheated and used a rice cooker. And so, there's that. Get you some of that liquid on there. And then let's get a little bit more beans. And if you get a bay leaf, that's fine. Just put it off to the side. It ain't gonna hurt nobody. And there you have it. Our red beans and rice. Got my cornbread. It's gonna be delicious, even though it's cold now. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm gonna stick that bay leaf back in there for the rest of it. And this is going to be our red beans and rice. I hope you've enjoyed this process. I hope you make some. It is an excellent meal to have any day of the week. And like I said, I hope you enjoy it. Let me know if you make it. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, thanks everybody. Bye-bye.